This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant is brought to you by Alive, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, the Deposit Insurance Corporation, the Digital Transformation Unit, Grand Bahama News, Popeyes, and Ron's Electric Motors.
The Foundation.
It's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation.
It's the foundation that's rocking the nation. Howard Grant's the host, Guardian radio station 96.9, 12 to 2 is the time. You can call the show or use the text line. Yeah, he educates, he informs. He goes against the norm. He's really got that zeal. Plus, he's a child of God.
Foundation. It's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. The Foundation. On this beautiful, it is a gorgeous day. Tuesday, August 5th. If you're out there celebrating a birthday, I don't know if you're the Beyoncés of the world, all those persons celebrating in the 9th month, the month of birth, right? This is a birthing month. Come on, talk to me. The 9th month, which is the birthing month, if you're celebrating a birthday, we continue to be able to say happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. I think my brother-in-law is celebrating a birthday on the 10th of September, Stephen Presenti. He's celebrating a birthday on the 10th of September. And all those persons out there, if you're celebrating a birthday, I don't have you right offhand. If you're on my mind, it can pop up later. But happy birthday to all those persons celebrating a birthday in this beautiful month of September, as we continue to be able to travail to the most significant month that was ever created. Both Jesus and I were born in the same month. Talk to me. Talk to me. December, as we all prepare ourselves to be able to enjoy the month of December and enjoy that particular, the festivities associated with that. And all, I know you guys can smell the parties that's going to be happening. I know it's going to be some parties going on as we get to this particular thing at this time. Guys, make sure you pick up your newspapers. The Guardian newspaper talks about all these things. Government eyeing new sentencing regime, right? So the regime to target dangerous criminals. Chinese trade could lower costs for living in the Bahamas. This is what the ambassador says. And make sure you pick up the newspaper because the ambassador's in there talking about these things. You know that she was on the show yesterday. It was a wonderful conversation. I truly enjoyed it. The Foundation with Howard Grant has all the information in there. Jared did the story. It's a beautiful story. Make sure you pick up the newspapers and check that out. We see that Sands calls the reshuffle lipstick on a pig. Lipstick on a pig. Oh my God, we can get into these conversations today, and I want you guys to be able to be a part of it. The lines are going to be wide open, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere for the family violence, 242-300, 5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. And risk to the economy from the inflation still looms. Guardian's definitely hiring, guys. If you're interested, see page 2. You can be able to get the information. Guardian is hiring. We're looking for a great deal of people as we continue to expand and do a great deal of things here at the Guardian Radio. You're wilding out it is too early, too soon. You gotta give me some time to get into it. I see the telephone calls are lit up already. Just give me some time. I want to be able to say a shout out to my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance and Brokers. My good friend Ethric Bow. I'm hoping that he comes sits with me on Small Business Thursday, this coming Thursday, to talk about the great stuff that they got going on at this transitional time at the beginning of the month. I know that you're looking for insurance, looking for opportunities, looking for all those things. We could be able to see those things, right? Also, I think I got a text here already. Let me see if I can read this text. Also, he says the thing that he said, Howard, that thing didn't say Guardian Radio. Please forgive me. The Nassau Guardian, all of us under one umbrella. We're definitely looking for opportunities. I think there's reporters. It doesn't say more specifically. We're going to read page 2 as you get into those things. But, as you get into this transitional time, you're looking for an opportunity to be able to make some things happen. Make sure you check out my guys down there at AFS Insurance. My good, decent people, Alan Butler, he's always sitting with us on Thursdays. I'm looking for him to be able to come again as we do that on Small Business Thursday to have a good conversation about what Milo Butler Mart has going on down there. And it's always a wonderful thing to be able to hear from them. I know that your fridge is bare. If it's anything like mine, this is the first time the fridge got cold. Over the summer, I didn't have to call the refrigerator guy twice. Somebody talk to me. I got 4 years old. The little 4-year-old, Daddy, can I have some juice, please? He wouldn't stop. Sir, can you leave the refrigerator open sometimes? My wife get a little lobster. She get a little, my son used to call it lobster. She get a little lobster from Mangrove Key. We got them sent to us. Lobster conch, this, that, and the next thing. This boy, when the thing's spoiled in the fridge, he need to stop. He opening the fridge all the time. So if your fridge for the first time is catching itself, if ice could actually form in the fridge for the first time in months, give God praise. And to get that particular thing refilled, make sure you go check my good guys out over at Milo B. Butler and Son at Butler Mart on Blue Hill Road, right there by Wesley Methodist Church. Guys, it's a beautiful day, and I'm grateful for this. I want to be as decent as possible. I want to be as decent as possible as I start this conversation with you. Yesterday, we had a great conversation with the ambassador for China. And I'd like to say to you that the conversation was not confined to 2 individuals speaking. It was Howard Grant, the foundation, speaking with China, speaking with the representative for the People's Republic of China. And if I was curt with our first caller yesterday who wanted to talk about this sort of an idea of people squatting on his land, this was a wild thing that you chose this platform with this official, this dignitary, this diplomat to have that kind of a conversation. So forgive me, I cut you. Just, 2 ways about it. Because sometimes we have to have decency and decorum associated with how we approach these officials. They're not sitting in their own capacity. They're not individuals sitting here. They're representing a body of people. And like she indicated, 1/5 of humanity. And it's important that we at least hear them out and give them that space to be able to speak with clarity in those opportunities to be able to do so. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for her being able to sit with us. And I'm hoping that you took significant away from the conversation, that it was in-depth enough. I wanted to talk more specifically about the Belt and Road projects because we hear a lot of sort of social chatter about those particular things, right? And I wanted to be very clear about where we're going and the relationship thereof. So I'm hoping I did a good enough job for you guys to kind of understand. She's committed to coming back. So after we have an opportunity to go over to China and we interview all those persons, when we return, we're hoping to be able to have her sit with us, God spare, and really have a good conversation. You guys dived into religion. Y'all don't even play. My God. Y'all don't even play. It was a wild thing, but I'm grateful for you and your sort of transparency and desire to be able to go directly at it with decency and decorum. So I thought it was good. And she definitely was able to approach that with transparency. So I enjoyed that. And it was a great conversation yesterday. I'm grateful for you guys to be able to do that and be able to participate in that. Today, I want to talk about something. Over the weekend, something happened. Yesterday's paper spoke more specifically about it. Sunday, I had an opportunity to be able to lay down on my IPTV. Watch me on my IPTV. Shout out to Ian. Ian Thomas, who's always sitting with us from Direct Marketers. He turned me on to the IPTV. He didn't tell me no price yet. Now, talk to me. You didn't put it on my TV. He ain't tell me no price yet. He ain't sent me no invoice. He ain't sent me nothing. But the IPTV is bananas. Can I say that? We've already watched The Wizard of Oz. I've already watched Oz, right? The Wiz. You remember The Wiz with Michael Jackson? We've already watched that. We watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? We watch all because my kids, they want to watch these old movies that I used to watch. I tried to watch Napoleon Dynamite yesterday, and I guess it has to refresh. We're going to watch that hopefully later on this week. But I'm watching IPTV and sitting down there and watching the entire thing. Prime Minister comes on maybe about, I don't know, was it 5:30? He's supposed to come on at 5:30. I'm watching Phil Galanis and Leslie Miller go back and forth about, obviously they had insights into some of these things. And I'm watching them go back and forth talking about this. And I said, okay, so this is a little bit lackluster. Because I'm watching it, right? So I say, okay, this is a little bit lackluster. Prime Minister comes on, HD, crystal clear. I said, oh my God, this looks nice. The background is nice and clean. The Prime Minister is actually speaking from a very comfortable position. I don't know who's setting this up for you. I don't know who's doing this, but guys, this is professional. I want to commend you. Whoever did it. I don't know if it's Fincastle Media, my guy Paul Turnquest. I don't know if he's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. I get in your business. But I'm simply saying it was professionally presented. And the Prime Minister was very good in terms of his presentation and bringing that information to the forefront. Y'all, just be patient. Let me chop the thing down, and then we can talk about it accordingly. Don't fight me. Let's deal with it. Prime Minister comes on, the papers, you can be able to read it. Candia did a story on it yesterday, the reshuffle. Prime Minister Philip Davis yesterday announced changes to his cabinet 2 weeks ahead of his administration's observing its second anniversary as the government. The changes include 2 promotions of ministries of state to substantive ministers. Jomo Campbell has been moved from the Ministry of State for Minister of Legal Affairs, and now the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, right? We know that. That was, we can break that thing down, right? And then also Pia Glover Rowe, who was the Minister of State for Public Services and now the Minister of Labor and Public, let's go, A6. This is yesterday's paper. So if you didn't figure it out, I didn't read it yesterday, you're going to be able to read a couple of things today. Public Services, all right? So Clay Sweeting, who is the Minister of Agriculture, is now the Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Local Government is now the Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs. I thought this was gigantic. Someone talk to me. We're going to talk like this today. I see the lines lit up. I don't know who that is. I feel like it's Sparky. I'm not going to fight you, Sparky, but you're going to cuss me out when you come on. So, I thought this was bananas. I thought this was gigantic, and I thought this was a mammoth task. That the Prime Minister reposed the type of confidence, not only in Clay Sweeting, right? Because I don't know whether or not there is a Minister of State is there a Minister of State? No, there's no Minister of State for Works and Family Island Affairs. This is a mammoth task. Now, I know based upon what Phil Galanis and Leslie Miller was saying, and sort of their position as pundits to be able to talk about what they're seeing and their exposure and experience in this particular capacity, start to talk about Clay Sweeting's track record and what he would have done over the years. But can we not neglect, negate, or kind of refrain from looking at the fact that he is still growing in this particular capacity? The first time he's been introduced to cabinet as a minister to take on such a mammoth task, normally the tradition in politics would say this should be a senior official in this particular capacity. So he's gotten that particular position. I say kudos and I commend you. And I know that Clay is going to do well, but I don't know whether or not the there would be deprivation locally to be able to amplify what has been non-existent externally. What do I mean by that? Are we going to see less production in the city of Nassau, where there is more than 2/3 of the population of the country living with significant deprivation and roads with craters in these roads, left, right, and center? Are you going to deprive the significant focus that needs to be placed on productivity and movement in Nassau to ensure that you can bolster activity in the family of violence? I know our brothers and sisters need that, but there also needs to be an avenue of compensation for all the CV joints that have gone to hell. Talk to me. Someone say something. For all the CV joints and the tires that have been blown and gone to hell and so forth and so on, there needs to be an avenue of compensation within the ministry to ensure that you understand the burden that is on the small man on a day-to-day basis. It'll force you as a inverted incentive, I suppose, to be able to execute your jobs accordingly. I won't say that. So, Clay, we're looking out for you. Keith Bell, formerly Minister of Labor and Immigration, is the new Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal. Jobeth Colby, who was the Minister of Transport and Housing, is now the Ministry of Energy and Transport. Zane Lightburn, who served as Minister of State for Education, is now the Minister of State for Environment. Basil McIntosh, formerly Minister of State for Ministry, formerly Minister of State for the Ministry of the Environment, has been appointed to the Minister of State for Aviation. I won't talk like this. And also, did we say this? Alfred Sayers, who served as Minister of Works, is now the Minister of Immigration. I sense that whilst there has been significant and pronounced promotions, the question is, can we view any of these particular positions as a potential demotion? That's what I want to know. Because there's political malarkey afoot. And I want to talk to you more strategically, more specifically to the strategy associated with this. I woke up a little early this morning and I thought about it. And in thinking about it, I wanted to do a little bit of research on it. And so I typed in some stuff and I started to kind of read on these things and something popped up. So I read it. This is a book called The Strategy Bridge, Theory for Practice. It's by Colin S. Gregg. Let me tell you what the book is about. The Strategy Bridge is a theory of practice, is an original contribution to the general theory of strategy. While heavily indebted to the writings of Carl von Clausewitz and Sun Tzu, and the very few other classical authors, this book presents the theory rather than merely comments on the theory, as developed by others. Bridge, the book, explains that the purpose of strategy is to connect purposefully politics and the policy with the instruments that they must use. The primary focus of attention is not military strategy, but this subject is well nested in the discussion of grand strategy, for which military strategy is only one strand. Bridge presents the general theory of strategy comprehensively and explains the utility of this general theory for the particular strategies and the strategists need to develop in order to meet their historically unique challenges. This is the book. That's just sort of the preamble of what the expectations of. I want to be able to read a little abstract, and then I can get into our conversation for the day. I can read this, then we can get into the conversation. So this is from, I think, chapter 3. The chapter 3 of the book is called Politics, War, and Strategy. Right? The book is called The Strategy Bridge. Chapter 3, this is an abstract from Politics, War, and Strategy. Let's read it. A theory of war, perhaps the theory, cannot suffice as a theory of strategy. Strategy is a function, that needs to be conducted in peacetime as well as in wartime. Because Clausewitz adheres to closely his mission, narrowly defends his One War, that's his book, One War, on war. He tells us nothing of much note about how and why peace becomes war, and how war becomes peace, worthy of the name. The strategist today, to all greater or lesser degree, must be a grand strategist. He has to approach strategy as a permanent mission, and to see war situated politically in a continuous stream of political and strategic history. Clausewitz theorizes, as it were, above the fray of the great political narrative that from time to time conducts its transactions violently. Listen, I needed to read that for you. And I need you to understand something. I see this telephone call. Don't fight me. Give me 2 seconds. There is a strategic approach that the PLP has taken to identify its path to re-election. I want to talk like this today. I know some people, some sycophants want to be able to say, Howard, shut up. No, we can talk like this today. You're not going to fight me. Okay? We're going to have a very clear conversation about this today. And I'm going to talk about these things. I want to talk about the allegations that existed behind the curtains, the murmurs that spilt out, that moved, that one particular move that was needed, that was required, that was socially being called for. They ready to blow the shofar. It's time to be able to make a significant move. The PLP prorogued the House of Assembly to make one move and ended up making 3. That's all this is. The 8 individuals that moved was for 3 individuals, 3 anchor individuals, based upon the murmurs that existed behind the scenes. I agree with the Prime Minister to be able to ensure that there is youthful, energetic, this sort of creative, innovative energy that comes to the forefront to identify talents and strategically put them in positions to execute accordingly. That's great, in theory. But the practical application and the strategy, the perpetual strategy that this book speaks of, is always on the move. Today, I want to break down with you the strategy associated with it. And beyond the traditional malarkey of being able to regurgitate and vomit up what men and women of yesteryear spoke of, lipstick on a pig and all these things like that. Beyond that, let's get to the crux of the matter, to the meat and potatoes, to the core of why this was done. And let's find out whether or not this can lead to a path of victory for the PLP come next general election. Let's take a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation.
Farmers everywhere, fishermen here and there. The Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs now has 30 services available online. Apply for your agriculture farmland lease, farmer's registration and license, and crawfish trapping permits online. All kinds of duty-free and import permits are now just a click away. Visit mygateway.gov.bs and grow your business today. My Gateway, making government work for you.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. 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 The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. The lines are wide open today. It is going to be an open line day, and we're talking about the PLP strategy for victory come 2026 or sooner, right? So some things happen. We see at the forefront what exists as it relates to a reshuffle. At the onset, the reshuffle was peculiar. We didn't understand it. Myself, I didn't understand it. I needed to get more clarity. When we saw the proroguing of the House of Assembly from the Commissioner of Police being able to take that sort of position, and then we saw officers out of the office of the Prime Minister, Latreille, being able to sit ever so casual. Their attire, their demeanor was very casual, that this is just something that needed to do. I feel like that was a strategy also, but I feel like that backfired on them. And then we saw the AG in the same disposition as it relates to a very casual approach, and then being able to speak to these particular things. Everybody formally waiting to be able to hear these things. Everything else was formal. The pomp and pageantry was associated with it. We saw them riding down in the in sort of this motorcade style, right? And being able to come and deliver this information at the steps of the House of Assembly. Then we saw the AG and Latreille in his capacity out of the office of the Prime Minister, being able to work in those particular capacities, ever so casual. None of these men are elected men. None of these men in the cabinet of the Bahamas. And so we were, taken back. Okay, forget that. Let's push past that and let's get to the meat of the thing. When Theo Seeley asked them whether or not there was going to be a new legislative agenda being able to bring to the forefront, the AG, Ryan Pinder, indicated that there wouldn't be. No, we didn't have anything. Everything else will be tabled. Blew my mind. I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what is the objective? Is this for a reshuffling of the cabinet? Is this for, a by-election? Are you preparing to move towards by-election? And they said, no, we're going to put all those things back. We just want to be able to revive this. The next day, they met the AG. I don't know where, I can't remember exactly where it was, because I'm watching this with bated breath to find out whether or not the PLP government is doing the unthinkable, is really going to be able to take this time to go to a by-election. I said the PLP can't go to a by-election. But this by-election, the demeanor, the atmosphere is charged with the necessity for change. This is what I'm saying. I'm watching it. I said, but if they go to a by-election, they seal their fate. The F&M is going to win 3 seats. Or whatever seats that they decide to go to a by-election with. At the time, it was a conversation about possibly North Abaco, Carmichael Road, and possibly if they could be able to pull in the concept, see Long Island in there. I say the F&M government 3 seats if this happens. Now, these are just theories. This is what we do. We theorize until we can be able to get to the objective. I don't know why the politics in this country is set up like the kingdom of God, when no man knoweth the day or time, except for the Father. They need to stop this. But anyway, this is what it is. This is how they said it. They want us to relentlessly be on the edges of our seats to find out what the hell they can do next. Okay, so we're watching this thing. The next time we hear from the AG in an official capacity in his suit and tie and the entire thing, they're asking him a question. Then he starts to talk more specifically about the agenda of being able to identify medicinal cannabis, the marijuana bill. I think we did so much work to be able to move away from this concept and idea. There was too much education done to still call this a marijuana bill. But anyway, I'm not in that. That ain't what it is. So bring it to the forefront. So I said, this is peculiar because there has been enough chatter behind closed doors that spills out to those persons who have significant attachment to it. There's been enough chatter that says the government has made a decision on this particular matter. We're just waiting for them to execute. And I don't know whether or not this is one of those proverbial political Acme bags that you could pull out a ladder or pull out or whatever you want to pull out at your time. So they decided to be able to use this bag and pull out, boom. Let's distract them with this. This is what I'm seeing. I'm watching the thing. I don't know what you're watching. This is what I'm watching. I have gotten calls. I told you my phone has reached far and wide, and sometimes I don't want to get in people's business, but nonetheless, people feel, let me just send this to Howard. There has been talks about what was happening in Elizabeth. Talk to me. There has been significant talks, socially and otherwise, about Carmichael, and there has been obvious talks about what was happening in North Abaco. The Prime Minister has not spoken to North Abaco, to the position that the PLP would take. The Chairman has not spoken to North Abaco. It seems as though North Abaco has hung himself out to dry. That the political organization, the PLP, has given him proverbial rope to hang himself, with his words. The same rope was extended to Keith Bell. Can I say this? Someone tell me the truth. The same rope, because this rope is accessible to all. He that have a mouth, let him grab the rope. Talk to me. This rope is accessible and available to all that seeketh to speak. You pick it up with your tongue. Grammy called it the pink carpet in your mouth. The rope was used in North Abaco and proverbially provided. It was almost like a kamikaze mission when he started to talk. I am the Prime Minister in North Abaco. My God. The entire time prior to this, talk to me. Someone say something. The entire time prior to this, the Prime Minister was feverishly trying to be able to assist it. Someone say something to me. The lines are wide open. The Prime Minister was feverishly trying to assist North Abaco. And after he made these sort of declarations, I felt like the hands were in the air. Oh, okay, Bola, you was the Prime Minister? Well, go on and save yourself. Go on, bam. We saw the member for Carmichael take on the same position and started to defend the indefensible. Decisions that were made that should never be made, that superseded the protocols that exist within the democracy of this country to ensure that law and order stays abreast, in line. There was significant supersession. And as a result of the supersession, the information spilled out into the media places. No allegations, just the story. As media houses spoke of these particular stories, we looked at it. 65 Chinese nationals found in the Hilton Hotel. 3 out of the 65 had any level of documentation to indicate who they are. 62 should have been detained and processed. That process was superseded by a call based upon the information that we have. As the member and then the former minister for immigration sought to explain himself, he dug himself deeper into a hole. For the very first time, we saw the chairman and Minister of Foreign Affairs take on the position to say to the member, hold your tongue, save your life. The member for Carmichael decided to adhere to the wisdom of leadership within the organization and said nothing else. I'm watching the whole thing. As a result of him saying absolutely nothing, the party went to work on his behalf. Someone say something to me. Simultaneously, we know that there was rumblings afoot at the towers on JFK with the minister Alfred Sayers, an astute politician, senior man in every capacity, well-versed and qualified and capable of being able to transcend and ascend to the pinnacle of power and leadership in this country. We know that he's capable. There were some rumblings happening there. And then social media went wild. Someone talked to me and spoke to a resignation from the cabinet of the Bahamas. Is it me? I'm the only person that saw that then. Nobody else see that. I see it, but we ain't here to talk about these allegations because we don't get too punchy. We ain't get punchy here. We can talk about facts. And we can talk about truth. The facts being what they are, there's a reshuffling in the cabinet of the Bahamas. But no one is talking to the truth. Why? Why this relentless strategy for the PLP to align themselves with a greater objective and put themselves back in power? Can it work is the question. I dare say it may work. I got to say it like that. Because this flimsy defense that the Free National Movement is levying against such a major move, because you don't see that it's major. I see that it's a major move. Not necessarily the move. It's not necessarily, talk to me, a move designed to be able to bolster confidence externally, but it is just to be able to lean on the hopes and expectation that Bahamian people gonna forget. I don't think we forgot Oban. And they beat the former prime minister, but they whip him with that. In September 2021, they whipped him with that. Now, the question that I have for you is whether or not this particular approach, this strategic approach, under the guise of rejuvenation, realignment, creative influence or injection, will this lead to a victory for the PLP come 2026 or before? Give me a call, guys, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of islands, 242-300-5720, or hit me up, 422-4796. Let me read a couple of these texts. So it says, Ho, I'm sure you could just put the word, okay? WARD, okay? The abbreviation for Howard cannot be Ho. This is absolutely wild and extremely indecent. I just want to let you know. I just want to let you know this, right? So I would, when are we going to talk about the inefficiency at the government offices and its impact on the GDP because people cannot be productive when it's done online for 2 days on end? I think you're talking about the fact that people aren't home. You got to give me some clarity on that. Hit me with the next text, right? Let's see if we can read another one. It's a good day, sir. The mayor of Grand Bahama celebrated his 4th birthday. Congratulations and wishes from the citizens of Grand Bahama. Rudy, happy birthday to you, Rudy Stubbs, my brother. I hope that you're healing up and doing well down there in Grand Bahama. Happy birthday to you. And I pray that the Father continues to be able to bless you and you see many, many more birthdays. Howard, the strategy is to single out the Bahamian people, that there is a reset. Forget about 2021 and focus on 2023 and beyond, thus requiring the need of the electorate to vote them back in because they just started in 2023 instead of 2021. Do the Bahamian people want to give them more time is the question. There's a text that's coming through. This is Howard. You want someone to talk to you, but you're not opening the lines. The lines are wide open. I put the numbers out there, right? So it says, Howard, I like Sayers. He is everything you say, but he takes too long to get things done. He wants too much concessions. Is that what it is? Or consensus? You can never get 100 people or 100% of people to agree with you. It's a text that's coming through. Listen, the PRP going into government and strategically putting Obi Wolstrom in, Dennis Hannah Martin in, Alfred Sayers in. This is the strategy. These are senior men and women with political aspirations to climb to the top of Mount Carmel and perch their flag in this kind of position. This is the position. I knew it was going to be problems, but I always held fast to the fact that the PLPs keep their stuff internally. The ambassador yesterday spoke to the fact that most of these things need to be worked out behind closed doors. Come to a consensus and then come to the forefront and speak to those matters. We're not seeing that happen in our country. We're not seeing that happen in our democracy. And as a result of that, a lot of these things are spilling out. It's a telephone call on the line. Let me take this telephone call. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead. Is that a caller? No? Is that a caller? Okay, guys, the lines are wide open. Listen, I want to be very clear with you, and I know that it's an uncomfortable thing to have these conversations. I know that the tradition of politics in this country has said to you, it is what it is. Why don't you watch it, shut your mouth, and continue to go? I'm watching this. And I'm watching traditional politicians that grew up at the feet of juggernauts of yesteryear, using the exact same strategies, but different language. That is disingenuous to the people, to the electorate. It is. I believe it is. I believe it's disingenuous to be able to use the concept and idea of instant gratification, of innovation, of creativity, of expansion, of youth being infused in strategic positions of government and executing the exact same strategies of yesteryear. It's devoid of technological advancements. It's devoid of everything that needs to happen that's happening globally. But you expect us to sit in this kind of position and just take what you give us. It is what it is. This is disingenuous. And it's time for the Bahamian people to wake up to these strategies. This may be uncomfortable for those men and women who are close enough to power to understand that they are doing something's afoot. Something is up. And ladies and gentlemen, this cabinet shuffle was not enough for me. I commend all the men and women who had an opportunity to ascend to significant office. Jomo Campbell. I commend him. I commend Clay Sweeting. I commend them. Zane Lightbourne. I commend them. But no one is talking. That's 3 out of 8. These commented with Pia. Let's put Pia in that for sure. Pia is my girl. She's done absolutely wonderful. She's committed herself. She's articulated all these, everything what Phil Galanis and Leslie Miller said yesterday, I agree with. I agree with you. Okay? She's done well, and she deserves this opportunity. But it's they on North Abaco's. No one's saying nothing about what's going on in North Abaco. No one. The political organization has a responsibility to either embrace this or separate themselves accordingly. We're not talking about what's happening in the courts. That ain't got nothing to do with your constitution and your commitment to transparency for the people of the Bahamas. And you're calling again on the break. You're wilding out. I got to take this commercial break. 1 o'clock, I want you guys to give me a call back. We're going to take this commercial break, go to news, and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
The foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
We've been with you from the very start, leading the way and providing you with the best in primetime sporting experiences. From one goal to the next, you can count on us for full access to the best sports channels at home or on the go. Make Rev your only choice. Visit rev.bs. Every match, every game, every moment. Rev, your home for sports.
America completely run out of it.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Guardian Radio and the Foundation are on the move.
Bahamas, this one's for you.
SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Every Thursday, the Foundation with Howard Grant will highlight small businesses throughout the country, far and wide. Your products, services, prices, and personality. We want to hear it all. Get your 30 or 60-second advertisement heard on air at a fraction of the cost. We here at the Foundation understand the times and don't want you to be left behind. With Guardian Radio, you reach your specific demographic, and it is unmatched.
We reach thousands daily.
Get your products off the shelf and your services in their hearts. Small Business Thursdays with the Foundation, only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. For more information, call 302-2300 or the Help Me Howard line at 827-0111. SBT. Small Business Thursdays. Get your business moving today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, The Foundation, on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, live and in full effect. The lines are wide open if you want to be a part of the conversation. We're chopping this thing down today. I know that it's indecent to talk about things like this, but hey, this is what we're here for. Into the thick of it, we're going to talk about these things. I want you to be able to talk with me. 323-622. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere for the family of islands, 242-300-5720, or you can be able to hit me up, 422-4796. When we left, I just wanted to know about accountability. About the Progressive Liberals Party's accountability to this New Day agenda, this concept and idea of transparency that demolishes the idea of corruption intertwined in the thread, in the fabric of the PLP party. The New Day agenda ascended that. The New Day agenda was the proverbial dawn to take away the grease from this water. Talk to me. The New Day agenda was to lift the stain in the fabric of the organization to ensure that they can move in a particular direction. That was the New Day agenda. That's what it was for. Whenever you speak about sun and new day and light and illumination and transparency and so forth and so on, it has to do with an eradication of that which it opposes. Darkness. Because you can't be a spigot with salt water and fresh water. My God, I get preachy quickly, you know. I try to pull out and come back in and TMI. I'm sorry. You understand? The New Day agenda was to eradicate the concept, the legacy, because y'all hate me to talk about legacy, but that's your business. I'm not going to fight you. Every man worketh towards his legacy, whether he does so with acknowledgement or in a casual manner. Meander towards nothingness. That is your legacy. Alcoholics may be oblivious unto themselves of what their legacy is because they are inebriated. They are not sober, but every one of us could be able to speak of it. Let no man call himself good. Talk to me. That's our business and responsibility to speak of your legacy. The PLP's responsibility under the leadership of Philip Brave Davis is to eradicate even the stench of corruption in the organization. And what you do, reshuffle it. Man, talk to me. Listen to me. I'm always happy when brothers and sisters could get a job. I am always happy. I be out there watching. You remember Malik from New York Undercover? You remember Malik from New York? You used to watch New York Undercover? Malik, the bad guy, bald head. You remember New York Undercover years ago? I saw him in a movie the other day. I said, "Oh my God, look at my boy! I haven't seen him in years." I'm so happy that he could get a little job, get a play. Praise God for him. Because I know sometimes these things can be unrelenting. And you need to be able to make some money, especially in the thing that you love. I am always happy to see my brothers and sisters get an opportunity. This is no hatred. I ain't hating and throwing shade on no one. I am talking about your overarching objective within the organization to introduce this concept of new day and going back to the old ways. Let's take a telephone call. Caller, you're on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Is the caller still there?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Brother Grant, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. What's happening with you?
I'm good. Listen to me.
Praise
I
God.
like that cabinet move around. I wouldn't call it a shuffle. Move around. Only My only disappointment in that, I felt like he should have put Obi Wilchcomb back in tourism.
I disagree with you.
Well, you don't have to, you could disagree with me.
I know.
That's like a nose. Everybody have one of them.
I know.
Yeah, but I am saying, I think Obi Wilchcomb should have gone back into tourism. Now, everything else, and
why?
And you know who's the real winner in this? You
Why?
know who's the real leader in this year?
Clay Sweden.
No.
Who?
Jomo Campbell and Wayne Monroe.
You wilding out.
Wayne Monroe, don't forget that Jomo Campbell came out of Wayne Monroe's law firm.
You are wilding out, sir.
Now,
Big boy.
if you know what you want to see in life, then your people that works under you elevate.
So essentially, you're trying to tell me that Hubert Ingram and Perry Christie are the big winners here.
Yes, because
to see
of
their
Sir
predecessor.
Lyndon, no. Sir Lyndon Tindlin was the big winner because of Perry Christie and Hubert Ingram. He made leaders.
Okay.
A leader is not a person that has followers, Any fool can get people to follow them. A leader is a person that creates leaders. Wayne Monroe created a leader in the position of Jomo Campbell.
I like what you did there. I like what you did there.
And also now my girl, my name is Pia Grover.
Yeah, Pia did that.
She shined well because she had worked under a minister who was in an eye person. He let Mr. Mitchell let her do her work.
By
and
default.
that's how she could have shown what she was good for. You have some ministers who some of these people work under, they block them all around because the minister wanted to look like he doing everything. Mr. Mitchell let her go, and she proved herself. He couldn't do nothing with her.
Mr. Mitchell was traveling. He couldn't.
Yeah, well, that's his job. That's what he could have traveled.
He can't be
he knew he had a good person there.
He
didn't have
omnipresent.
to oversee her with a switch or a belt.
I like what you say. I appreciate your telephone call.
But Mr. Monroe came out victorious in his old deal.
You wilding out, my brother. I appreciate your telephone call. Thank you so very kindly, guys. The lines are wide open to be able to chop these things down today. For me, the big winner here is Clay. For me, the big winner is Clay. For me, for the Prime Minister to repose that, because everyone serves at the pleasure of the Prime Minister. And for the Prime Minister to repose beyond affiliation, beyond party politics, beyond even proximity within the organization, to repose an opportunity to be able to give him to run again, for him to win victorious, to put him in the cabinet of the Bahamas, and then to be able to shuffle him and put him in such a strategic position, I can say, I believe that the Prime Minister is concerned about Family Island development. I believe that he is. And I believe that Clay has a heart for the family of islands. I believe that. I believe that was a very good move. I believe that was a very good move. I like Jomo Campbell's move also. I'd like to see where it goes from there. I can see that. I see Dr. Dwayne Sands taking on a position to be able to go head on with his rival within the constituency of Elizabeth, and speak more specifically to JoBeth Colby and the allegations that continue to be able to swirl around her name. I don't think that was a good move. Dr. Sands, it's just Howard. I don't think that was a good move. I don't think that was a good move. I just don't. Y'all have to remember politics. Y'all have to remember politics. Remember politics. Politics has nothing to do with the perpetuation of being able to keep the same old alive. It is about invigorating, inspiring, motivating, and putting in tomorrow. And all you look like is a sour old man that's being able to talk about sour grapes, that has egg on his face, about a victory that you didn't have for a youthful young person who has an opportunity. Yeah, we here. Listen to me. Whether it's LeBron James, whether it's Johnny Football, whether it's all these particular persons in their youth that has talent that messed up, this woman ain't no different. JoBeth Colby is not perfect. She's human. And she has a great deal to learn before she gets to the status of being able to call herself, like Picewell, a senior man in this place. She got some ways to go. Don't fight her. She's around the right people to get to that. You shouldn't take on that. That's just me. That's just Howard. That's just me. I ain't fighting. Don't fight me. You had 3 chances to win it. You win it once. The AG man beat you twice. And he had to prove that he's one of us. Talk to me. I can't even get no amen. Next telephone call. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Oh,
Hey.
how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm here listening to you.
Praise God.
I wonder if one day they could put inside whatever they manifest or whatever, that a politician could only make one term. You think that's possible?
A politician can only do what?
One term. You only could sit in government for one term.
No, man. That's like me. That's like you saying Howard could only be married for 5 years.
My man, provided you do extremely well.
No,
You know, ask me why I say that. Reason I say that, right? You can hear me, but
Yeah, I can hear you.
Really low.
I can hear you. I can hear you right here.
The
Right
reason
here.
I said that, right, is because, let's say the PLP and what they're doing now, the FNM, that's a big objection and now the problem of what they're doing, right? The first thing run through me in your mind is, who was him to talk? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They were there and doing just about the same or what. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why we have so many smart, intelligent, strong, they dislike the Bahamas so much until they can't offer themselves for political, they can't, can they?
Well, for me, I just believe it's just politics. All this is just a bunch of jive. It ain't real. It's a facade.
Turn your volume up.
For me, it's a facade. You can hear me now better? Like, come close to the mic.
Better.
For me, it's a facade. I don't think it's real. I don't think that the FNM is genuine with their approach to this, because I've learned over the years. And to your point, I can answer. I can let you go. To your point, I want to say this to you. I won't be able to touch this like this. I disagree with what you say at the onset. I disagree with it. I disagree with the fact that politicians should only serve one term. Whether you meant in the cabinet or whether you meant generally as politicians, I disagree with that. When I got married in 2003, I made so much promises to my wife. Wow, Jesus, I love this woman so bad, after you then breathe heavy on the booming face and in the ears and the back and so forth and so on. You got to go talk now. Baby doll, I can get you a house. I can get you this. I can get you that. I'm going to do this and do that and do that and blah, 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 blah. You're spilling your guts out because these are your genuine desires. Not just because you've reached the pinnacle of your pleasure. Talk to me. I talk. We as adults, let's talk. All the children in school, amen. Let me be decent, but let's talk. Not because you reach the pinnacle of your desires that you make these promises. These things that fall out of your heart. In the heart is the concerns of man. This is what you're filled with. There is a desire to get to a better place. So I spill it all out in the bed and the pillow, and I tell my wife what I can want to do, boom, 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 boom. Then you lose your job. Then this happened. Then the economy crunch. Then the bubble burst. Then these things happen. External events shift internal desires. Not necessarily desires, but kinetic movement. It happens. It happens to every single one of us. We just came out of a term of 2 years, but hardly none of us make a move. We had to shift our entire model so we could become productive and get money again. Some of us had to go back to school to figure out how we can do this thing. I can't agree with you. I can't say throw the fellas under the bus for one term, let it be gone. They better have enough skills to pay the bills to find themselves back again to execute their dreams and hopes. That's it. So that's that. Let me take a next telephone call. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller, you on the line with us live. Next caller. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Cialan here.
What's up, Cialan?
Yeah, let me just first address what you said before I address the others. I think she's talking about the 5-year celebrity aspect of it. And let me explain how that happens. But first, when you talk with your wife, let's go back to your religious upbringing. And the two shall become one. And that's the problem. You kept saying what you would do instead of what we would do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because she is your support system. And so what happens is the collective intelligence of both of you will always be superior to singularly you. And So just a little hint in there. I understand what you're saying. You're making a point. But let me explain the 5-year celebrity phenomenon. And you're seeing it right now happening again with the collective responsibility of cabinet. And the reason for that is that we have so bastardized the system that they all hold responsibility for the failure of governance. And so when it's time to judge them, you have to judge them as a collective. If you had backbenchers in the pure sense, the way the parliamentary democracy was intended to be, then they would actually be able to show that they were agitating and advocating for government to take responsibility for the promises they make. But even now, in the few occasions you had backbenchers, they were on the largesse of government, and speaking out against it would actually cost them their job. So essentially what happens is these political parties have created a closed-loop system where the best minds in it won't enter to join them. Because what is the use of being the best mind of one in a group of individuals that follows the mandate of the party? So you'll be one person, like you say, in case people don't realize, governance in the Bahamas is the majority rules, even in Parliament. And so, like you say, I tell people all the time, when I'm sitting in a group of idiots, I will always be overruled by the idiots. So...
Hold on, see, Alan, you're getting too deep now. You call the people idiots, indirectly, proverbial idiots. You need to stop. Go ahead.
So this is the problem we have, and so we don't have real governance. So, like, look at just an example right now. You have the Progressive Liberal Party with 32 individuals. My party, 32 individuals that won the election. 27 of them sits in parliament in cabinet. That's a dictatorship. That doesn't give us the what is necessary for governing.
See, Alan, I just want you to know something. This is the first time you've done this. Okay?
Right.
This is the first time you've exclaimed my party. I just want to let you know that.
But I'm saying to you, because understand this, I am not a PLP, right?
You are the PLP.
No, I can't be a political party. That's how I understand when people say I'm PLP, I'm F&M.
Okay.
However, I subscribe to the philosophy of the Progressive Liberal Party.
And perpetuate for the past 7 months everything that Michael Pintard is saying and his openness.
No, because you understand this. Let me tell you how. Do you know how Minis beat the PLP the last time?
Minis didn't beat the PLP.
No, it was partly. The PLP couldn't fight back at Minis because what Minis did was adopted all of the tenets that the PLP represented, and the PLP couldn't come back and say he's using our stuff against us. Go check the record. Okay. The problem is the Progressive Party used to now claims to say they represent the poor. The philosophy of the PLP is anti-poverty, not embracing poverty. Okay. And so the problem is, if you go back to the 80s, but let's go back to the F&M, okay? When the F&M dissident 8 left the party, the principles was that the PLP was no longer aligning with the philosophy that they claimed to be. Now, you could argue concerning merging and contamination all you want, but that was the beginning. See, the problem is that you go to 99% of PLPs, they can't tell you what they believe. You go to 99% of F&Ms, they just tell you I'm an F&M. What is your philosophical belief system? They can't tell you.
See, Alan, we got to have this further conversation.
No, but let me just say this. When you're talking about this, and let me tell you, like, I support Michael Pintard. I don't support his Pintard. I listen to Parliament, and I listen again. I seek first to understand, then to be understood. And he's advocating for the very attributes that we as a party, when we first start in our first 30, 40 years, stood for. And so if you listen to him, not with his red shirt, but what he is saying, the substantive, what he's saying, what he's calling for accountability. So if you hold him to his word, and you then, instead of standing as an outsider, you try to shape the policy from within that party, because definitely within this particular administration, they have already done. And so, yes, we celebrate, oh, these people are successful. I ask you this. I asked the Progressive Liberal Party to present, I asked you or your whole media team, go find one policy of this part of this government. How do you know somebody's successful at anything when they have no blueprint for what they're supposed to be successful at? It's an appearance.
My God. See, Alan, I got to let you go. I got the lines lit right up. You was my guy. We got to talk further about this because I want to know more. You know, I get deep into politics. And I was always good at math. And now I go forget these numbers. You have never done that before. And even in the conversation just now, when you started to be able to speak about our and the FNM simultaneously, I'm confused. I just need clarity as we continue to be able to go forward on these particular things. Not that I need to know your political position. That didn't even make a difference to me. I don't care about none of that. But I need to know, because every politician in opposition has the ability to be able to articulate and create this sort of an idea of this majestic politician, a peacock of politicians, being able to shimmer as they splash their head over the waters, like Ariel when the waves came up in the back and you could hear their ha. Yeah, that's what politicians do. You could hear that when they're in opposition. But when they step into leadership, that's when the rubber meets the road and you got to hit the ground running. So, in this position of opposition, even ascending to the position of leader of the Free National Movement, we still have to contrast him to when the rubber meet the road when he was a minister, when he was a cabinet minister. And beyond his application in these particular tight situations, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in his constituency, that has nothing to do with his inability to be able to pull people together. That's the trait of leadership. Who are you inspiring? That's what leadership is. You can't tell a man, go do this. You inspire a man. Is the inspiration there? That's the questions that I have. Next telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
What's up, Anton?
I'm good, man. You can hear me clearly?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say on the earlier part of your conversation, maybe about 15 minutes back, you started to speak about youth and mistakes that some youthful parliamentarians may make, et cetera, et cetera. I also want to comment from the flip side of that youth conversation and say that the Progressive Liberal Party will be returning as government, in my view, once what the Deputy Prime Minister spoke about this morning on your colleague show, Dwight, comes forward. If we are able to carry forward with the shuffle in the cabinet that recently took place and make good on what the Deputy Prime Minister spoke to, we will rest assured to see another term. And guess what, Howard? We will be the best prepared government and cabinet, perhaps of all time in our country, considering the average age of our current parliamentarians. We are looking at the long haul of good governance and politics in our country, and there is no party in existence in this country that can challenge what we will be prepared to do, and that will be able to match the level of politician integrity, character, know-how, expertise, etc., that is being built right now in the Progressive Liberal Party, in our cabinet, in our PALSEC, and in our ministers of state. Thank you for the opportunity. Continue the good work. God bless.
Thank you, my brother. I hear what you're saying with your enthusiasm and your zeal. But let's be very clear. All of us are, the world is a stage. And all of us lay in wait as understudies in preparation to execute what we've been studying and practicing for years. The PLP is up on the stage at this particular time. And there are perpetual, relentless understudies that don't exist only under the tent of the PLP or under the tent of the FNM. The only thing that separates you, that even could have a semblance of what you said coming to light, is that the FNM doesn't do the type of recruiting necessary to pull the passion and the desire for nationalism at the forefront. If the FNM lay in wait and believing that the cards today, without being able to do a proverbial reshuffle within the FNM themselves, if they lay in wait and believe that this deck, what they got now, could take them to leadership, then defeat is inevitable. However, the world being a stage, and all of us are players, understanding when to put the understudy on could change the entire game. Let's take a quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
At Alive, we believe that every common loftier goal is within our reach. We believe in the essence of our identity, the richness of our history, and the boundless potential that lies within us. That's why our network is built by, owned by, and managed by us. Alive, believe in Bahamians. Visit bealive.com to take advantage of our golden independence deals. Alive, believe in best.
It's Whopper Wednesday every Wednesday at Burger King Nassau. Make your Wednesday sizzle and sink your teeth into a flame-grilled beef patty topped with tomatoes, fresh cut lettuce, mayo, pickles, ketchup, and sliced onions, all on a toasted sesame seed bun with fries for only $5.95, including VAT. This Whopper Wednesday, grab a friend and head down to your favorite BK Nassau location for a flame-grilled Whopper made your way with crisp fries for only $5.95. Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio, Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation, on this beautiful, gorgeous Tuesday afternoon. We're here live and in full effect. I see the lines are lit up. If you want to be able to be a part of that, please give me a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of violence, 242-300-5720, or you can hit me up, 422-4796. Let's get a couple of these out. Hey, Howard, now that Bell is responsible for housing in the Bahamas, it's fair to say that the Haitians would not get proper housing and taxpayers' expense, at the taxpayers' expense. You are wilding out. Big wild. All caps. You need to stop. Right? Let's see if we can read this one. It says, Brother Howard, the government of the Bahamas under the Prime Minister Davis with the cabinet shuffle sent a positive and powerful message to the Bahamian people. Yes, North Abaco has committed political suicide, but consultants must be done with the people of Abaco first. So ride the wave with Brave. Okay, Rudy, I appreciate you sending the text. Right? So it says, jokes. Howard, the caller is silly. That's what it says. Let's see if we can find that. Howard, the caller is silly. You can't out-term in law. That is why we have elections. Vote is the time to keep out Not one term. I will try to piece that together in my mind the best I can. So it says, Colby is not perfect, nor is she above criticism. Her recent handling of the taxi franchise moratorium was a disaster, right? I think all of us should be given that kind of a grace, not necessarily to fumble the ball, but it doesn't take away the talent that we have, especially if we don't have. Why is Howard doing all this for Colby? Because Colby is Howard. Jomo is Howard. Talk to me. Clay is Howard. Talk to me. These young politicians is Howard. Adrian is Howard. Kirk is Howard. Andre Rollins, Howard. All of these young politicians who have aspirations to get into a position to see the next dispensation of ruler is us. And I don't claim to be perfect. I'm sure if I've ever given an opportunity, I've been big one, two mistakes also. There's no one walking out here in perfection. The only thing that we desire, for me, is to have the kind of proximity towards leadership and be the understudy of men and women that I trust. And I don't see that happening in here. Let me take a next telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, Howard.
Hey, what's happening with you, my dear?
Right here enjoying this hot sun.
Praise God.
Listen, you said, I listened to the other names you called, but you said Cornish is Howard. I didn't realize you were also a prime minister, sir. Anyhow.
As the prime minister, guardian rate, no, I just... For the white coming here. Go ahead.
Anyway, Howard, listen, the move around or shuffle, so to speak, it's weird for me because I don't understand the reasoning behind moving Clay Sweeting, because I think he was doing some work. He was making some headway in his. I mean, come on.
You
now.
had to move Clay to be able to put. Listen to me. Let's do this. Let's close our eyes and think about this. If you're driving, keep your eye open. Pull on the side.
Okay, I parked just now.
Okay, now close your eyes. Let's think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the AG office need the autonomy to make a decision gung-ho towards anything? Why? Because that's why the move happened. Man, Lord Jesus, let's talk about this. Why?
Now, listen, you tell me close my eye, and I closed my eye, and guess what? It was dark. I couldn't see.
Okay, that's what's happening here. Why would the office of the prime minister decide to shift the AG having the accountability of a senior person in a particular capacity and provide him an opportunity for this individual? I'm happy for Jomo, but I'm looking at the plate. What's happening here?
Because
for Jomo to get this position, some other people had to move.
Yeah.
And if you move, because whatever the turmoil was that you had to move the Minister of Works, who do you replace him with? And simultaneously show that we have a care and concern for the family of islands. We have to make this an inclusive decision. Let's put Clay there. But if we move Clay, who we can put here? Let's put Jomo there. But then Ryan ain't got nobody.
It sounded to me like those 6 names were in a basket and they just
I'm trying to show you. No. Clay, listen. Clay and Jomo get a plate. Clay, Jomo, and Basil McIntosh get a plate.
Mm-hmm.
And Zane Lightburn. The core of the reform had to do with, okay, so let me just be clear with you. The one person who, when it comes to assessment evaluation, that should be given no holds bar opportunity to be able to ascend to a substantive ministry, for me, for Howard Grant, is Pia Glover Rowe. She did absolutely wonderful. And I believe that the agitation from the Minister of Foreign Affairs would give her that opportunity to be able to ascend to that. Because essentially, he is not a micromanager. So she had the bumps and bruises. They put her right into the fire, and she did well. They ascended her to this position.
Understandable, right?
Okay, that's one.
My thing is, I don't know which Bahamas Anton lives in. However, from my view, I guess he's talking about New Providence and not the Bahamas because you go to Miami, but you're not in you know that kind of way.
Yeah.
You go to Miami, but you're not Miami in Fort Lauderdale, so you're only here. Yeah, that type of way. Because I'm concerned with the way he speaks because I don't understand where his. Can he see wrong where wrong is? Because I don't see no reason for keeping Bell.
But that ain't
no reason.
Yeah,
if
man.
anything,
You
keep LaRoda because LaRoda was trying to do something there and put LaRoda there, but put Bell where LaRoda is. Put Bell a little below his level. Bell chest is already popping too high. You can't tell me the man do wrong. The people shouting and crying, and you can put the man back there to another high level, and then talk about, we got this wrapped up. Are you nuts? Can't you see that he already bumped and bruised us on our knees? So we supposed to walk around without a Band-Aid? Come on, man. Get a feel for what's going on around you. Get a feel for this 100% heat we feeling outside. Feel something.
I like what you said. I appreciate you
Don't
calling.
walk around here with your chest puffed up and wearing and not thinking that the persons are seeing you walking around all puffed up. Something is seriously wrong. Somebody is, like you say, sit down, close your eyes. What do you see?
Think about it.
Nothing but darkness.
I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you for your telephone call. Now, I want to do this. I want to touch this. That's 2 seconds. I see the lines there. Don't fight me. When we thought that it was sudden death and destruction and pure calamity on the shoulders of the Bahamian people under the former administration with Perry Christie, and he retained and committed to former Minister Shane Gibson, none of us understood. Some things surpass your understanding when it becomes to politicians being strange bedfellows. There is a commitment and an allegiance that goes beyond what you see. The Prime Minister cannot get rid of his guy. Keith Bell is his guy. Talk to me. Keith Bell is his guy. I didn't expect this to happen. I just lay the whole thing out. Sometimes I ain't want to be able to spoon feed you, but I ain't even say it enough for you to understand. I said to you, when Kirk Cornish, before he started talking, the Prime Minister was working on his behalf. When he opened his mouth and he grabbed the proverbial rope with the pink carpet, the Prime Minister had to throw his hand up because the man talks too much. He's a novice politician, brand new to the thing. He didn't know what to say, what not to say. No one there to tell him, Bulla, hold your tongue, save your life. But as soon as Keith Bell started to talk, senior politicians in this particular capacity who understands, keep your mouth closed, said to him, Bulla, say nothing else. This is what Fred Mitchell said to Keith Bell. And Keith Bell adhered. And as a result of him complying, adhering, genuflecting, he retained his political life. Next telephone call. Go ahead.
Howard.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing too good by now because I've been holding on for half an hour on my cell phone. But
You
listen,
did? Go ahead.
you know what little children say in primary school?
Let me hear it.
Good in your pants, you ain't get no lunch. Let me tell you something. C. Allen has, like Einstein say, has literally gone insane. And Anton, a.k.a. Little Tommy Tucker, continues to sing for his supper. I agree with that lady 110%, but was just for Wade Davis, by not moving that rotten bell pepper, green bell pepper, from the left side of the case to the right side of the case. What is he onto the rest of those fresh bell peppers in that case? Instead of taking that rotten out and discarding that, he has just politically destroyed his entire PLP.
That is bananas.
The Bahamian people wasn't concerned, but love Jomo. Jomo is my minister. Does an impeccable job at one or two of them. He didn't need to baroque no house to go to that with Jomo them. He could have for them as you.
But Jomo might have been a last-minute effort to ensure that there is the perceived symmetry.
Listen, that man, I grew up with Jomo Campbell. Jomo Campbell is a straight A+ student. Wherever he goes, he's gonna do well. We didn't need no Baroque House and to mix him in with Keith Bell them. In order he could do that on regular Parliament Day, I promoted Jomo and whoever else occurred. The Bahamian people was basically focused on Keith Bell. You see? He tried to mix Keith Bell in that bowl of conch salad, but ain't nothing happening. And he has just decided the fate of the Progressive Liberal Party. You mark my word. Thanks for taking my call.
I appreciate your telephone call, my brother. Thank you so kindly, ladies and gentlemen. The lines are wide open. Let me read a few of these texts before we can be able to take a commercial break. It says, great show as usual, Howard. I know some way, somehow, you would infuse the hotel in this boy. I tell you, you don't need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. Okay? Cállate la boca. Ah? Pare. You need to stop. Let's see if we can do this, right? So it says, great show as usual, Howard. I was hoping for a changing in the ministry of Grand Bahama. I was expected Obi to get it. Okay, so let's just do this. The party politics is not naive. The PLP is not naive. They ain't fool. Sometimes, Grammy say, you play fool, but you ain't fool. They ain't fool. You cannot. The PLP has suffered at the detriment of doing this under the former administration with Perry Christie. They threw the proverbial bridge to the future under the bridge. You forget to say. Every single one that former Prime Minister Perry Christie hoisted on his shoulder in the commercial and smiled about, he threw under the bridge. Almost in one effort, gone. They come to us and give us some, I don't know what kind of issue story they was talking about, some credit card with Gregory Moss, whenever he started to agitate and go against, in his capacity to be able to stand and speak, not necessarily against his party, but against the legislative agenda that would go contrary to what the party's commitment was. He was gone. Bye. Renwood Wells and Andre Rollins, the same thing. Bye. Gone. The PLP cannot suffer that again. They cannot suffer it again. They cannot. That may be why they're doing all they can to try to retain even the perception of Cornish. But maybe, it may be. The PLP can no longer throw away the baby with the bathwater. The bathwater is what's dirty. Not the baby, for God's sake. And this is what we have. Let me see if I can read a few more of these texts. So it says, good day. Can you please repeat the name of the book that you quoted? The book was called Strategy. Let me see if I can get it again. Don't fight me. See it right here. A theory of... let me see this. A strategy bridge. The strategy bridge. Theory for practice. Colin S. Gregg. The strategy bridge. That's the book. Ask Anton who is his plug, because whatever he's on, they got him real crazy. I need some of whatever he's got. Every single one of us has a responsibility and a role to play. When we adhere and commit ourselves to that role, we got to play it and play it with passion. I can't go against Anton or Dave or any one of these persons who speak of their political organization with that kind of an enthusiasm or passion. Everybody know their role. And hopefully that role could ascend you to a greater position in due time and due season. Don't fight Anton. Let him do his thing. Our responsibility is to remain transparent and hold steadfast to not the theory, the concepts, the ideas of what can happen, but be able to look at what's actually happening. And based upon the strategy, contrast that to the tradition of politics that exists in our country, and then debunk whatever is being said in this field of dreams. Next telephone call. Caller on the line. Go ahead.
Hey, Howard, what's up?
I'm good, brother. What's happening with you?
Howard, you heard what you just said.
Go ahead.
You said, don't throw away the baby with the bad water, right?
No.
You said it's the bad water what is dirty,
Yeah.
not the baby.
Not the baby.
How did the bad water get dirty?
The baby, but you didn't clean him. My God, now.
So, Howard.
We need fresh water.
Come on. The baby has to be dirty for the bad water to get dirty, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I call it. Thank you, sir.
My God, I got 4 children. And to be a human being, as we travail the elements that exist externally, sometimes, you ever notice this? You ever notice when, it's me, I don't know if it's only me, but we have these conversations in the hotel room when we go off to the States and other spaces. When you go in the hotel, the bath water, I mean, you I don't know if it's just me. It can't be only me, unless you got good, decent water in your house. The water when you go to the United States of America and you bathe in these hotel with extra hot and the towel sudsing quickly, no problem, bam. And you bathe off, you realize, you say, my God, I didn't even know I was this dirty. And you rinse off. But every night, no matter how good you scrub, every night you come back and you could meet even more dirt because you travail an environment that's infused with the same the same CO2, these same emissions, all of this stuck to you. And you have a responsibility to get rid of that on a day-to-day basis. We are not to throw away the baby. Our responsibility, the proverbial water, which is our conviction, which is our grace, gives us an opportunity to bathe off and reapply ourselves. If that's 70 times 7, it is what it is. But you are not to throw away the baby with the bath water. Because if you do so, then what are you saying about the next dispensation of leaders in our country? I do not believe PLP or FNM, young politicians, are perfect, especially in an era where instant gratification has taken over a great deal of our young people's mind. They believe that they know it all. But there is no mentorship in politics. Everyone scrambling and scurrying for an actual opportunity to get back in politics. These fellas need a whole oxygen mask. They need the gurney bed. They need everything, but they won't get back in politics. Some of them right down to the last breath they take. They have done away, and this is what we talked to Sean McQueenie and Frankie Wilson, Sir Franklin Winston. This is what we talked to them about when we talked about Unicall. When they spoke to us, even Loftus Roker, when we spoke to these men of valor, political valor in our society, social valor in our society, when we spoke to them, the one thing every one of them committed to is to be able to acknowledge the men and or women that afforded them an opportunity to access information, knowledge, expanded and encouraged them. And the question that I had that remained consistent is, what are you doing? Why didn't you guys pay it forward? That's it. That is it. There could be no expectation of perfection, no matter how we observe these things as youth, to step in the position to believe that we know all the answers. Young people don't know the answers. We need mentorship. But our mentors competing with us, and the country can't move like that. Your political organization can move, and the country can move, unless you understand that my time has come. I can still serve from a mentorship capacity. If you fight me for the same thing, and you then do this for 40 years, then I might as well just throw my hand up and go elsewhere. That is what's happening here. There are a great deal of men and women in politics that seek to be able to be reelected, reaffirmed, reestablished, and rejecting the idea that there is youth and innovation for this time and dispensation, for this era to step into politics. You all do away with that. You throw them away. They don't know nothing. These young politicians, and they got you all repeating the same thing. Man, see, this is why we don't need young people in politics. What the hell are you talking about? These people are going to die. are transitioning, many of them, and they know it. At least we could garner information, knowledge from them, that they wouldn't go to the grave with these things if they put themselves in the position of understanding, I now have to be a pitcher and pour into. Because you've expanded from a glass. You are now a pitcher to pour into. But you still see yourself as a glass and a goblet. You need to stop. You need to stop. Let's see if we can read a few of these texts before we get out of here. Howard, the 1997 re-election of the Ingram administration will be morphed by this Davis administration, according to Anton. I doubt that. Let's see if we can read this. I don't think that the FNM or the PLP can handle C. Allen and their leadership. He seems to have a plan to strengthen Pintard to challenge the PLP. Good strategy to bring the PLP back in alignment with the philosophy if someone else starts using it. If he is hardcore philosophy, either Pintard is embracing what he believes or he is seeking to shape the FNM to this PLP philosophy. Remember, the current FNM is also made up of former PLPs. This is a text coming through. This is Howard. That caller was an FNM. She only wants PLPs to have one term. Election is there. Keep people to one term, not term limits. Many people would not be PM. This is a text coming through. Keith Bell, former employer, is a big political contributor to the PLP, so his move to housing is strategic. It's a text coming through. There is a lot of persons being able to take on. So C. Allen is insane because he doesn't support the COI like the caller who is afraid to say who he supports. It's a text coming through. During the campaign, the PLP said that they are ready to govern from day one. My question is, day one of what? All right? Howard, you know, if one of them die this week, they blaming you, right? You can't blame me. So mentorship. Mentorship don't pay the bills. And your young turn around and eat you. The old gods will take their worth to the grave. This is exactly what the issue is in our society. There is a perpetual, and this is what happens when you find yourself crippled by socioeconomic conditions. This is what happens when you find yourself perpetually in a position of need financially. That your mindset is not to contribute externally, but always having your arms open, begging arms, and looking for something to give to you. Mentorship is essential. Mentorship is essential. The entire crux of Bahamianization was developed and designed off of mentorship. Mentorship is what developed this Bahama land that we see right now. The men and women that sit in leadership and the men and women that we continue to be able to speak of will always tell you, many of them, of a white man that mentored them, that prepared them, that believed in them, that afforded them an opportunity to go off to school. Someone who had money that paid for them to go off. Talk to me. Mentorship is essential. It's been eradicated because of self-grandizing. This kind of this internal, it is me. Here I am, the big I am, who I am. That's the politician's mindset. I don't think it's deliberate. I think it's as a result of the conditioning in our society. You believe that I am who I am. And you forget the responsibility to pay it forward. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I want to thank you so very kindly. Let me see if I can read one more of these. The government's position need to be voluntary positions. Then we will see who does it for the love of country. But I love my family first. And ain't nothing free. Praise God. I can't even get an amen. Let me see if I can read one more or two of these texts. People sending texts on my personal phone. It says, I am a PLP. Every time Anton calls the show, I turn off the radio and put a bottle of Jack Daniels on my head. He's very, my God, you got the Jack Daniels available like that. You wild it out. right? These are texts that are coming through, guys. I want to thank you so very kindly for being able to tune in. I'm hoping that we trouble the contentment, the idea of it is what it is, and the social flat plains of contentment in your spirits. That contentment can lead to stagnation. We have a responsibility as we sprint towards the next general election to identify these things and question why. Both PLP, FNM, and anyone else who comes to the forefront, because the Bahamian people will no longer be fooled into voting for you just to vote against these people. It is time for us to make a decision for growth, for development, and holding our leaders' proverbial feet to the fire. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show today. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, the foundation, on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. I think I have someone special that'll be able to come in the studio with you. But before I put it out there, I just want to kind of confirm some things. We're going to have a great conversation tomorrow. Guys, stick and save for Chicago with Z Live. I'll see you tomorrow, God spare, right here on the foundation with Howard Grant. Have a great day, guys.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant is brought to you by Alive, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, the Deposit Insurance Corporation, the Digital Transformation Unit, Grand Bahama News, Popeyes, and Ross Electric Motors.
Foundation. The foundation.